investigation. Understanding iOS and Android forensic technique is like deciphering the language of modern crime scenes where every touch leaves a trace. A very warm good morning and hearty welcome you all for today's online session on iOS and Android forensic. Prayer is the opening of our to God as a friend. With these thoughts, we will begin this expert lecture by invoking God's blessing with a moment of silent prayer. Considering iPhone and other mobile devices in our digital age store a lot of personal data, iOS forensics is essential for investigations. In mobile forensics, certain methods are used to collect and analyze data from mobile phones, particularly iOS devices. Forensic analysts must have a solid understanding of iOS file system and security protocols. Mobile forensics, when combined with the appropriate equipment and knowledge, can yield important evidence for court proceedings. We are delighted to welcome Professor Gaurav M. Rawal for gracing us with his presence today. It gives us immense pleasure to have you share your knowledge with us today, sir. Greetings, sir.
Thank you
I
so
now
very much.
I now extend a cordial welcome to Professor Ron Carroll, Coordinator of Department of Forensic Science, to the session today. Welcome, sir. I extend my sincere and heartfelt welcome to all the faculty members and the students of the Department of Forensic Science to this session. I now welcome Ms. Neha Elsa John, student of first year MSc Forensic Science, to introduce the speaker.
I deem it an honor to introduce Professor Gaurav and Rawal, a national level cybersecurity expert trainer and a consultant. Sir has worked with various institutions in Indo as an assistant professor and head of Department of Computer Sciences for more than 9 years, amounting to a total experience of more than 23 years in academic as well as corporate sector. Sir has gained a name and prominence in the police department for his unmatched skill to solve cybersecurity issues through his various training programs and awareness. He has been associated with Police Radio Training School as a guest faculty for various national and state level cybercrime prevention awareness programs and training courses. He has also been associated with police training colleges and police training schools as a cybersecurity trainer and IT expert to give training to C to DSP rank officers about various subjects related to cybercrime, law, and investigation. He has provided training to various CSP circles, sub-inspectors, and investigating officers of Indo Police. He has been conducting awareness workshops for narcotic wing indoor and for various universities and training seminars with other paramilitary forces like Central Industrial Security Force, ASG Airport Indoor, Banknote Press Divas, and Border Security Force. Sir also served in the forensic department of Sri Vaishnav Vidyapeeth University as a member of Board of Studies for Department of Forensic Science at Government Holkar Science College in Indore. He is providing training by organizing various seminars, workshops, guest talks, podcasts, and radio interviews, also through YouTube channels to advance the knowledge of educational institutions, organizations, and NGOs about cyber security, cyber forensics, cyber investigations, and social media issues. Besides this, he has attended 15 national and international conferences, has published 13 papers, and taken part in various workshops and seminars. It is an honor to have Professor Gaurav M. Rawal amidst us today. Without further ado, I request you, sir, to address the gathering.
Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Fine, fine. So, thank you so very much, first and all, Chris Jayanti College and the Department of Forensic Science, who has conducted this kind of workshops and a session for their students and showing their keenness that they are just committed to deliver some knowledge to their students as far as the forensic science is concerned. And I am honored and privileged that they have invited me and then thought that I would share some draw light on some topics related to mobile forensics and then mobile technology. So without further ado, that I would like to share my screen. So please give me a privilege to share my screen so I can share my presentation and start my session with my presentation. And see, I can speak hours and hours without the presentation, but it is for the students' reference that they may maybe noted down few things here and there, and then they may get the things in the proper manner.
Yes, sir. You can share the screen, sir.
Okay, thank you so very much. So first and all, I would like to share something to you. So I hope my presentation is visible to all of you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. So that before we start the session, that first and all, because I am aware of that this is the MSc Forensic Science first year students and the final year students also. So that see what kind of challenges and of MSc first year, that it would be good that they may aware of that why they choose this subject and what are the challenges they have to face after the completion of the degree. So it is the win-win situation for both the students. First MSc first time also, and then the final year students also. So first and all, I would like to draw in today's age that why we are here, and then how the scope of forensic science is so vast nowadays. So starting from my presentation, see, you can see that around about 12,000 years ago, humans started the development, and then agriculture came into lights, and this is the first revolution when the civilization of our own species. Then next big leap came with the construction of the power looms, and then setting up the large units of production manufacturing units in around about 250 years ago. That is the second phase of the transition period. And then the third phase come in the integrated circuit. We can say that the ICs or computer chips invented by the companies, and then it started the changing the human lives, and then thousands and couples of calculations that come through with the help of this kind of technology, and this kind of chips capables of running the appliances, provide the calculators and computers and electronic device. Then the era came of the information technology in the in the year of 2000, like 2 decades back, at the age of information technology, where the information started, the people reflecting upon that the information is the power, a new fuel, we can say. Who has the more and more information, who will be the more capable of. So, and then one which existing today also, we are just often seen in the world scenario and globally also, starting with the political leaders who has the more and more information. They are powerful leaders, starting from the Donald Trump, or we can say that Joe Biden, or the Putin, or in our country, our president of prime minister of our country. So more and more information you are delivering, then you will be a more capable of and more powerful. So this is the era we have already gone through. Then the cell phone came in the year 2005 and 2004. So today the more than 6.8 billion cell phone subscriber worldwide, and over the nearly 1 billion, like we can say 90 crores in India. Unfortunately, the 60% of this 90 crores, we can say that they are just belongs to the rural area, or we can say interiors. So they are not much aware about the technology. They are using the technology without the manual. So that is why that the forensic science now emerge in the way, because more and more crime is committed, more and more fraudster activities is performing through various devices. We can say the IoTs, Internet of Things. That is why our field, that forensic science field, emerge like anything. So that is why the universities and colleges and then educational institution, they started thinking about that, and they started more and more courses, because there is a scope, more scope in that field. Now electronic gadgetry came. Every 3 months, the new gadgets, new smartphones, new smart gadgets. Now we can say the smart watches, smart. Now the cellular phone become the smartphone. Why we call this smartphone? Because this is smarter than us. Many things in the Android and then iOS or mobile phones, we could not aware of that. But the many things that are coming by default inbuilt. Like if one option I can say that if I am just taking a photographs of mine and sharing in the social media platforms. So in the Android phone, the by default setting of the geotagging and geolocation is coming on in the every smartphone, or we can say the mobile phone handset, which is having the comprises with the Android Jelly Bean platform. So if I am sharing these photographs, anyone can download that photograph and then go to the property of that JPG image and then copy my longitude and latitude, and then they may get my actual location on the time which I have just posted this kind of stuff on online platforms, or we can say in this cyberspace. So the electronic gadgetry also change our life. Now, with the desktop computer, laptop, and CCTV, now we are surrounded with the IoTs, the smartphones, the smart TVs, smart routers, dynamic networking and dynamic networks, dynamic servers, which couple of minutes or a couple of seconds, they usually change their IP addresses. So the forensic science field emerge just like a boon, or we can say that a key to traces those kind of digital evidences, or we can say digital footprints. So that is why our field, forensic science field, is much more as far as the cyber forensic is concerned. Even the normal forensic, we can say the fingerprints and then the biometrics, and these are the things, and DNA and protein related tests. Now they are also considering and conducting over the systems, and then the softwares available, the tools available to conduct those kind of tests. So this is the time, high time to familiar of those kind of things. Now, the connectivity, the next greater contributor, explosive. See, all those things which are coming to us because of the proper connectivity and data availability, the spectrum available of the cyberspace, and in the cyberspace, the internet data available with us. I can compare with the last 5 year back, whereby we have only 1 GB data for per month, and then we could only just check our some emails and then doing some chatting on the WhatsApp. This was the scene 5 year back. But after the pandemic and then post-pandemic conditions, now we tend and we foresee to come online. All the education sector, all the industry, all the corporate sector, all the world, we are foresee to be online because of that pandemic came. And then post pandemic situation, now it become the new normal. So nowadays what is going on, if we have a 5 member in a family, even one member is having consuming the 4 GB data per day minimum nowadays. So the 16 GB for one day for one family. So we can say that 480 GBs data is consuming by one family. And this is the only 4 GB. Only I am talking about the mobile phones. Forget about that OTT platforms and that other stuff. Now, online classes, the physics wala, or we can say then the Unacademy, and then there are many lots of platforms available with us. So Byju's and other things also. So nowadays, a 500 GB is the consumption of one family, 1 month data, if the family is comprises with the 4 members, 2 kids and 2 husband wives. So this is the thing. So now the 1G technology came in 1978, then 2G came, then 1991, and then SMS in 1992 in UK, and the 3G came in 2001, and then November 15, then 5G came. The 5G technology began. I can only give you one example of 5G technology. 5G is just the data speed is available with the 5G network is 1 Gbps. 1 Gbps means 1 GB per second data transfer speed will be there in 5G. So we can imagine that what kind of, in which kind of world we are just living with. So what is the scope of the forensic science? In these servers, in these networks, in this digital footprints and digital gadgets, in the world of IoTs, our job is more important and more relevant and more smart as compared to the 5 year back. So now this is the scene of the internet today is the largest factor of the spread, the growth of the information revolution, and the remotest corners of the globe. I already told you that we have more than 90 crores internet users available in our country, and in the remote areas also, interiors also, the rural area also, that 60% of the mobile users, they are just belonging. So they are using the technology without the manual. And now if we are using the any technology without the manual or any things which we are using without the knowing of the law, that there may be chances of that violation of law and violation of rules. So then the forensic science emerged and came into light to sort out and to trace out the culprits, trace out the people who are just behind this kind of the data breaching or data fraudulent activities. Now, I'm just giving you example. So what is the glimpse of learning of cyber forensic? What actually this question supposed to come in your mind in the first day of the college? What I supposed to do in the forensic science? So what is computer and forensic and its future scope? First and all, I'm telling you, and I already discussed a few things about that. What is the scope and future of the forensic science? Another thing, what is the role of purpose of the first responder during an investigation? This is the your course comprises with. So that you have to be take all those uh, measures to be conduct any kind of investigation process or the during investigation process or seizing process or other process. That is the roles and responsibility of first responders. So you have to be make sure about that. Another thing is what is the difference between cyber forensic and cyber security? See, cyber security is a very vast field. Cyber forensic is related to the investigation process. See, cyber security is the security of all the devices, all the compliances, all the Internet of Things. But forensic is to get the data of those devices. Suppose cyber security covers the network, the firewall, and then gadgets. And forensic is concerned with the fetching the data from the gadgets, fetching the data from the servers, fetching the data from the Internet of Things, like IP address, tracing of IP address, tracing of emails, tracing of the networks and identifier, the service providers, even the MAC address of the PCs, and many more things. Even then, mobile forensic, we can say the getting the data rescue from the mobile devices, the mobile analysis, the SIM analysis, and the network analysis with the various tools. This, I'm sure that you will be already familiar about those tools and techniques. So what are the different types of digital evidences available? This in the course of this couple of minutes, we will discuss about that. What are the different types of digital evidences and where they are situated to get and fetch from the for an investigation process as far as the forensic investigation is concerned. What are the challenges involved in the digital evidences collection that we will also discuss in the couple of minutes, and how they examine the digital evidences. So what are the tools available with us? So we can examine this kind of tools. And what is the mobile forensic and principle and example of this is also we can try to draw a few lights on that also. And what are the tools required to carry out the mobile forensic investigation? This is the thing. So this is a very vast field in the, I'm not sure that with the 1 hour how much we can discuss, but I'm trying to get bit things for you so that you can get, I'm not telling that you can assure yourself that you can know each and everything about something, but I'm assuring assuring you that you can, after the session, you can think that and you can knowing something of everything. Something means what the technology works, and stand for, and how and what kind of activities we usually perform as far as the cyber forensic or the investigation is concerned. Because I am working, so the glimpse of learning of cyber forensic, we already discussed that. There is a one software usually comprises with the software name is Celebrite. This is the software which we usually law enforcement agency use to get fetch the data from the mobile devices. It is coming with the paid versions. So why people use? I am not getting time to demonstrate you the Celebrite and other tools, what kind of activities, but I'm giving you the clues that you can further investigate and further research on that Celebrite and its use in tools. Why we use the Celebrite empowers the agencies to modernize their investigation workflow, and then close waiting public safe gap driven with the ever-growing digital sophisticated crimes and evidences. So that is why this is we are using the celebrities using for the Android phones from iOS, or we can say that Apple Macintosh. So we usually use that the iTunes for backupping the iPad or the iTouch, or we can say that iPhones. So we usually use the iTunes, and much better, or in the many cases we have to just consult to the service providers, because the privacy is the policy of that Apple Macintosh or iPhone, or we can say the companies. So many a time that investigation agency usually asks, even we have a one incidences response that why people are using the iPhones instead of the Android phones, not because for the features and but security and then privacy features. Because in many cases that uh, FBI is also just facing and looking for that cracking the devices, but the iPhone's privacy policy says that it is not our policy to disclose the privacy of our valued customers and users. So that is why, but in few cases they have to cope with the security agencies and law enforcement agencies. But in the normal course of time, they are not leaking your data, and that they are not sharing your data and privacy. Now I'm coming to the another presentation. This is the overview and then base of my presentation. I would think that you have to be clear in mind that why we are studying, why we are here. One, what is the scope of, because this question supposed to come and in the your curious mind, that why this we have this kind of sessions, and what is the need in today's era and today's age. So I'm just sharing another thing. I hope my screen is visible to you.
Yes.
Fine. So now, before we going to, I hope this is my first slide is visible to all of you. An overview of mobile technology.
Only the previous one is visible, sir. Back up your iPhone. That is.
Okay.
Your
fine.
presentation is not visible.
Okay, fine. I'm just again sharing that screen. Now it is showing.
Yes, sir.
I hope yes. So before we going for that Android and fetching the data, and we have to keep in mind, and then you have to think of that what is actually mobile technology and how it works, as far as whether it is the iOS or we can say the Android technology. See, to get and fetch the data from the standalone mobile or standalone handset, it is very easy, because I already celebrate. I already discussed about that we can attach that device with the PC, and then with the help of these tools, we can get many things. But before, what is the mobile technology, how it works, and what are the terminology we use, we have to be clear, or we can say, and aware of that. That is more important. So that is why I just intentionally that I am just discussing this kind of thing. Then, because if you are not knowing the base of the mobile technology, that the data recovery and then the fetching the data, it is very easy thing for you, but at least why we are using, how we are using, that is more important. So that keeping in this mind, that I'm just sharing this presentation with you. So if we are talking about the mobile devices, fine. So there are type of mobile communication. So you people are very young, you are not aware of that. There are two technology, that one is GSM, the mobile which we are using right now, and one is CDMA, that you are not aware of that, but in the late 2001, or we can say 2003, that CDMA mobile was so often. So the one mobile came with the Reliance Infocom, that is something called RIM. So that is also a CDMA mobile, means there is no need to have a SIM with the device. That device is already provided by the service provider without enabling the eSIM in that. And then if you are keeping that number, you have to continue with that service provider, whether it is a Reliance, then even the Tata Indicom is also came. You are not aware of that, you were so young, or even I think that in the 2003, 2004, many of you may be not even born. if you are so young, or if you are you may be very your kindergarten age. So that CDMA mobile was so often at that era. So, what is the difference between GSM and CDMA? That the GSM now we are using that because we have the independency to use various SIMs, various mobile number in various devices. We are not duty bound, or we can say bound to have particular SIM provided by the Reliance in particular handset. We can change that SIM and we can change the service provider. Even I have iPhone, I can have Airtel SIM. I may change my Airtel SIM and change it to a Idea cellular, or we can say I can go for the BSNL also. So this is the GSM mobile. So the popular in the world allow the users to roam between the networks. Mobile communication reaching global scale. The fully digital system allows speech and data services, operates in 4 different frequencies. The most of the GSM network operates in the 900 megahertz to the 1800 megahertz bands. This is the technical aspects. We have to be very clear about that. What is the GSM? Now, what is CDMA? So CDMA operates in the 918 to 919 megahertz frequencies. The narrow band messages signals multiplied by the wide band of the signals of the pseudo noise code, and each user has its own pseudo noise pin code. Soft capacity limit system performance degrades because you know that one is on the 900 to 1800 megahertz, one is only 918 to 990 megahertz. So naturally the voice quality, the voice tone or the messages, that quality, it will be decreased, not the increased. Degrade as number of the user increases. So earlier the CDMA was there, but nowadays the CDMA is the new normal, and the GSM mobile is the new normal. The CDMA was the not a cup of tea nowadays. So how mobile call established? First, you have to be keeping in mind that what is the what kind of technology is applying, whether one handset user is connecting to the another handset user. We have one tower between that both the users. So what are the things which is we have to be keep in mind? So first is network switching subsystem, that is NSS or GSM core network. So is the component of GSS system that carries the call switching, the mobility management function, or mobile phones roaming on the networks based stations. So there are 3 basics owned by the mobile operators, and there are 3 main stations, 3 main locations. One is the mobile station, that is your handset, the base station subsystem, and the network subsystem. So what are these 3? So mobile station, the mobile station means MS, we can say, the consist of the mobile handset equipments, the terminal, the device which you have, the smartphone or the smart gadgets. That is something called which give you the privilege to make a call. The smart card called is subscriber identity module. That is subscriber identity module. We usually in short form we know that as a SIM. Another thing is that is the handset. The base station subsystem is what? The base station subsystem is composed and comprised with 2 parts. The base transceiver station, that is BTS, and then data transceivers, the base station controller, that is BSC, that manage the resources and BTS. So this is something called the connection between the mobile station and the mobile service switching center. We something called it the tower. So the mobile station is connected to the base station subsystem, and then base system may connect to the local tower available with you. So that usually happen when you make a simple call with someone. And third one is that the network subsystem, the network component of the network subsystem is mobile service switching center, that is something called MSC. It likes a normal switching of PSTN. What is PSTN? See, you have that your call record with your service provider. So how many call in a month or in a time of span, we can say 1 week or 1 month, or we can say that in the quarter, a year, how many calls happen with your devices? That is something called your call detail record, your CDR. And PSTN is what? PSTN is the CDR of a tower, this particular tower, how many calls established in a particular time span within a 1 day, within a 1 week, within a 1 month. So many a time that PSTN is important for us as far as the forensic investigation is concerned. Why so? Because suppose I may give you a situation whereby you are just roaming with your family, one place to another place, and in between, in the midnight, somebody stop your car or stop your vehicle and robbed you and take all your valuables, all your money, all your belongings, and even your car or your transportation facility also. And then you are mid in the jungle and you just go to the local police station by walk of at least 1.5 hours or 2 hours. And then the incidents happened in the midnight. This is the case. So now how law enforcement agency traces those culprits or those robbers? So the moment you reach the local police station, then their police station may take you back with the particular place on the which the incidents happened. And what they will do, because they have no clue, because you do not know the culprits, the people behind it, because they just put a mask on their face. Even you do not know the languages also. They may also communicate with the sign languages. So you do not know what kind of, which region they may belongs to. So the police has no clue, but police has one clue available with that. So police what will do, they will just make a radius of 3 kilometers or 2 kilometers of that incident's place. And then they make a circle. And within that circle, whosoever tower is available of that particular mobile company, then they will do what they will do. They will take their PSTN data. PSTN data means in particular time which you are claiming that in the midnight or 1:30 a.m. or 2:30 a.m. or 3 a.m. So if you are claiming that the incidents happen with the 2 a.m. in the morning, so what they will do from 10 p.m. last day to the next morning 8 a.m. how many calls receiving and how many calls established in those 3 kilometers radius towers available. So they may take all the PSTN data from all those towers. So suppose in one tower 300 calls, another tower, because in the late night there are less calls established, 200 calls and 300. So all in all, we can say round about within a 3 kilometer of area, only 3 towers is available. So hardly 500 to 600 or 1,000 calls established or received. What they will do, they will just put analysis on those calls and then take all the PSTN data, means CDR of the tower, and because there is no handset. Now they are just tracing reverse engineering. So with the PSTN data, they will locate the devices. How many devices were active on those in the range of those towers, and who are there? What are how many devices were active 3 hours before the incidents and after 3 hours also? So 7 to 8 hours span, or even sometime 1 day back also. Because if somebody is just planning to rob you and somebody is planning to do some kind of loot or some kind of robbery, so they may 1 day before also, 2 days before also, they may visit those places to make recce that place, to choose the point through which they can stop your car, and then they may fix a point, because the spot, we can say that from this spot, because less transition will be there of the vehicle, so there may be a chances to not get any kind of rescue or help to you. So that is why they may visit it 2 or 3 times before they conducted this kind of activity. So law enforcement agency, even 1 to 5 day to 1 week back PSTN data, they usually analyze how many mobile phones were active in those areas, especially. So there are common numbers they may get. There are common subscriber identity modules, SIM cards they may find, and those SIM cards on which IMI number, on which in which handsets they are active. So they may get the IMI number of that handset also. and with the IMI number, and then SIM card, they may get the customer application form CAF from the telecom service provider, that those SIM cards issued to whom, and then accordingly, then they will get the culprits. And even they need one chain, one breakthrough, and then they will just open all the chain, because if one culprit is just in the custody of police custody or arrested, naturally they may be will disclose the other fellow also, and then the whole planning was disclosed. So this is the PSTN data is more important. So it likes a normal switching node from of the PSTN or ISDN, and then additionally provides the functionally needed the handle a mobile subscriber, like registration, authentication, location updating, handovers, and call routing. So these all things we can find from the network subsystem, that is tower. SIM, I already discussed about that. The SIM is the smart card, identifies a terminal by inserting a SIM card into a terminal. Terminal means the device or handset. The user can have access to all subscribed services. Without the SIM card, the terminal is not operating. It is just like a dummy phone. Because without SIM, your phone is not in the condition of work properly. So you can just only play a game just like a dummy phone, or do something, but not more than that. Am I audible to all of you? I'm just make sure. Fine. So my voice is coming to you properly, and my presentation is also visible, I hope. Hello, am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir. You are.
Okay, fine. And then mobile equipment, we call in short form ME, the terminal device through which the user have access to all the subscribed services, like provider by inserting a SIM. So handset. So handset comprises with IMI numbers. Now, more important thing is one more important thing is home location register. That is something called HLR. What is HLR? See, every call you make to someone, there are in server, that communication service provider server, there is a one register, that is something called home location registers. If you are just suppose if my SIM is give me a privilege to make a call in MP and Chhattisgarh, only two states. So my HLR, home location registered, is keeping the record of all the calls which I am making to this territory in this jurisdiction. So my HLR consider a very important database, and that store the information of subscriber belonging to the covering area of mobile switching center. It also store the current location of these subscriber, means my location, and then service to which they have access, or in which states I am making call. If suppose some call is coming from Bengaluru or Hyderabad or Tamil Nadu or Karnataka, so this call is registered in the VLR, that is visitor location register. That is why once we are just taking a CDR from the service provider, the telecom service provider, how come that law enforcement agency may know that these calls are the roaming calls are coming from out of states, and these calls are within the states. So there are two different register. One is HLR, home location register, and one is visitor location register, that is VLR. So VLR contains the information for subscriber. HLR necessary in order to provide the subscribed services to visiting users. Means the users is not belongs to particular states or region. When a subscriber enters and covering area of a new mobile switching center, the visitor location register, that VLR associated to this mobile switching center, will request the information about the new subscriber to its corresponding home location register. And then visitor location register will then needed to ask the home location register each time a communication is established. When you make a call, every time this process will going on. So by this, the communication service provider, telecom service provider, is bifurcating that on particular subscriber identity module, how many call are terminated from within a states and how many call are terminated means received outside the states with the help of these two registers. Now, the mobile switching center, that is MSC, it is the primary service delivery node, GSM or a CDMA mobile responsible for routing the voice calls, SMS, and well as other services such as conferences and calls and fax and circuit switches data also. So mobile switching center, the working of mobile switching center is to make your devices all the services available by the provided by the service provider, whether it is a call or SMS or the conference or fax. The mobile switching center sets up, releases end-to-end connection, handles mobility and hand over the requirements during the calls, take care of charging, and the real-time prepaid accounting monitoring means how many calls you make on the basis of those calls, that what is your billing amount, what is your chargeable amount after the making of the particular month or in the quarter, or even the prepaid mobile, you have first the amount available with you, and accordingly that they may deduct few things. Nowadays, the free call, or we can say the unlimited call services are available for the 84 days or 56 days, depending on the different packages or different vouchers available with the service provider. Accordingly, you can choose one. Now, the equipment identity register, that is something called, it is often integrated to the home location register. The home location registered is not only keeping your SIM card and then the detail of the calls received on particular SIM, but it is also keeping the record of in which handset your SIM is enabled. That is why the law enforcement agency, when we got a complaint from so and so person is hitting me on telephone, and this is the number of that person. So on the basis of that subscriber identity module SIM, law enforcement agency may find out the equipment identity from the equipment identity register, means the registered which is keeping the record of the on which IMI number, which subscriber identity module is active. Or even sometimes we usually give them a IMI number of particular devices, and after 4, 3 or 6 months, they may give us the feedback on that within a 5 days or within a 1 week, one new subscriber identity module or SIM is enabled on those culprit IMI numbers, which was seeking by the law enforcement agency. And then accordingly, that law enforcement agency take action of those SIM card and then get the information that customer application form at the time of getting these SIM cards issued to the particular culprits, and then whosoever is issued and that the belongings of the photo identity proof of that particular person who has issued, who has received this SIM subscriber identity module SIM. So on the basis of this equipment identity register, the investigation process is very easy to get the culprits, because nowadays what is going on, if one handset is using, one SIM is using, so person usually just remove the SIM and then break it and take another SIM and with the same equipment with the after 1 week or 1 month or 1 quarter. But the IMI number of that devices is already blacklisted by the law enforcement agency. So if any SIM enabled, so how come that that service providers came to know? Because of the equipment identity register. So it is often integrated to the home location register. Equipment identity register keep a list of mobile phones identified by their international mobile equipment identity, that is something called IMEI, which are to be banned from the network or monitored, means banned by the law enforcement agency, or give a request to monitor this. And this is the design to allow the track the stolen mobile phones. With keeping this mind, so I am also working with the law enforcement agency. So I wish to, because this is the time to say you, there are one portal launched by the Department of Telecommunication called Sanchar Sathi. So I am just coming to you. I hope my screen is not visible to you.
Screen is not visible.
Okay, fine. Now my screen is visible to you.
Yes, sir.
So I can. So this is visible, Sanchar Sathi.
Yes, sir.
Fine. So this is the new portal launched by the telecom department, Sanchar Sathi. So what is happening? That is why I'm just, because this is related to you also. Sometime you may also face this kind of thing. So once you click on this Sanchar Sathi, this is a Government of India portal. The Ministry of Communication is taking care of this. So this new feature they established, that feature is known as Chakshu. In Hindi, we can say eyes. So Chakshu, once you go to the citizen-centric services here on this portal, this is Chakshu. The report suspected fraud communication. So right now, what is happening with us? If somebody is just trying to cheat us or by phone, or just claiming that they are a police officer or the income tax officers or custom officers or CBI officers, or they may claim, okay, they are just calling from SBI, or they may calling from that LIC, or they may calling from any Naukri.com or something, some portal. And then they try to cheat you with 5,000 rupees, 15,000 rupees, 50,000 rupees, or 1 lakh, whosoever his amount is. Many a time you may be vigilant, and then you may be not giving them a chance, and you are not sharing. Usually, you are not sharing your information to those fellow. But you know that person was a cheater. Once you know visited to the police, local police, that police will ask you that how many amounts, how many rupees they may cheated from you, and they you usually that disclose them that it was because of my vigilant or my awareness, I could not lose any single penny. So they may say that, okay, if you are not cheated by them, then you please block that number. But you know that number is suspected number. He may be active and cheated more and more people, those who are innocent. In that case, to whom to report? Because police is not taking your report seriously, because there is no fraudster activity happened with you. Only they just attempted to this kind of activity, but they could not successful cheated you. So keeping in this mind that Ministry of Communication launched that sancharsathi.gov.in, this is the URL. So on that sancharsathi.gov.in, if you go to the citizen-centric services, there is a Chakshu reporting portal for suspected fraud communication. Once you click on that, there will be Chakshu suspected fraud communication. So you can report any suspected fraud communication received within the last 30 days, within 1 month. You can't say that 6 months back, somebody tried to cheated me, or 1 year back. So that much long cases, they may be not entertained. Only within a 30 days. Means suppose this is April is going on. So suppose in the month of March, somebody tried to cheated you. So you can even 1 day back, 1 week back, 4 week back maximum, you can report it, the incidents. So what you're supposed to do, you go to the Chakshu portal, and here the continue with the reporting. Once you click on that, continue with the reporting, there is a few tabs available. So the medium of suspected fraud means on which medium they may try to contact you. So there are 3 medium possibly. One is through call, or through SMS, or through WhatsApp message, or URL provided through a WhatsApp message or a link provided through a WhatsApp message or through a SMS claiming from they are just sending this SMS from SBI, or they may sending this SMS from income tax department for the tax recovery, or they may be shooting this SMS from the Naukri.com that you are selected for so and so post. So there are three possible ways: through call, through SMS. So you have to choose one of the medium through which the fraudster communicated with you. Another thing is suspected fraud communication details. So there are categories, what kind of claim they just, so there are categories available here. You can see the KYC related bank, electricity, gas, insurance policy, impersonation as a government officer or relative, and a fake customer care helpline number, or that online job, lottery, gifts, loan offers, sextortion, multiple automated robo communication, or malicious link or websites, or any other suspected fraud. So you can mention the category if one of this category is related to you, or any other category. So you can choose any other suspected fraud category. And you have to, within a 500 characters, you have to file a complaint that so and so person called me and claiming that they are calling from so and so thing, and that requested me to click on those link, or requested me to share my data, requested me to share my KYC, requested me to share my financial credential. This kind of thing you can report it here. Now you have to fill your personal detail also, because the field which having comprises asterisk, the fields are mandatory. So you have to enter your name here. Last name is not required, and mandatory your mobile number. And then once you fill that captcha, OTP will come on the number which you are providing here. Suppose I am providing my number here, 9893837 539. So once I entered this number and entered this captcha here, then there is a OTP coming on my provided number, and then I approve, verify my mobile number that it is me actually who is reporting for so and so fraudster activity, and my complaint will be logged. What will happen after doing so this complaint? The telecom department immediately block the outgoing facility of that number. So if the person is culprit, they will be not able to cheat more persons. Another thing is that they may issue a notice to them that within a 48 hours, means 2 days, they have to update it. They have to update their KYC. If they could not provide that relevant documents, then there may be case against them, and then there will be an investigation process. So without going to police, you can even block any suspected number from this Chakshu portal. So that is why I thought that this is the right time to discuss you. Otherwise, I may not get chance to interact with you people. Fine. So now, again, we are coming to our presentation. Now my screen is visible to you.
Yes, sir.
Fine. So the presentation is visible to you.
Yes.
Fine. So the equipment identity, that is why it is important. Now, every time we are just talking about the CDR and call detail record, we will have a separate session of the CDR analysis also, but only to make you people aware of that what kind of columns available in the given CDR provided by the telecom service provider or any company, Airtel, BSNL or Reliance. So there are few fields available. So CDR coming with the more than 52 fields, but only relevant fields are 9 to 10 for the law enforcement agency. So there are fields available, the number of making calls, the number of receiving calls, when the call started, that is the tower location, the cell one, and then how long the call was, the duration, and then route by the call entered exchange, that is first cell ID and the last cell ID. Means suppose this call is established from one place, and then after the 15 minutes that person is traveling to one place to another place. So the last tower location will be the location on which the call was terminated. So we can investigated that okay, person so and so person started from walking from this or starting driving from this, and then they may go to this direction. So in the investigation process, it is more important as far as that cyber investigation is concerned. Then call type, voice type, SMS, incoming, outgoing, that IMI number of that mobile equipment identity, that IMSI also, international mobile subscriber identity, it is related to the SIM. You may be often that when the physical SIM was coming, nowadays the Apple iPhone and many smartphones, the eSIM is coming. So there is no physical SIM available, but I am talking about when the physical SIM usually come, that there is a number written on the SIM. That is the something called international mobile subscriber identity, which is related to the subscriber identity, that is SIM card, which identity is there. So I hope that this will give you a few light to keep in mind what kind of technology working when you establish a call, whether it is coming established by the Android or iOS. Now we are coming to the next presentation. Now it is visible to you.
Yes, sir.
Introduction to mobile forensic, 8th April. The first slide is visible to you.
Yes, sir.
Fine. So now so if we call about the mobile forensic, fine. So why are we interested in the mobile devices? So over the years, the cell phones and then have become the smaller and lighter and are less expensive also, because nowadays we can say that within a 15 to 20,000, that the good smartphones usually available, provided by the various service provider, various companies available. There are many companies, HTC is there, then iOS is, Apple is also there, that Samsung is there, and many more. The OnePlus is also there. The use less power also, much faster also, and become the smartphones. Smartphones, when we called smartphones, means why it is called smart, because this gadgets is smarter than us. Many facilities and many options usually coming on without our concern, without our knowledge in these smartphones. So many a time these smartphones become that surveillance device for us, because it shows or it shares our locations, it shows and share our presence, how much time we were present in this virtual world. So last time, how many times, screen time also, one can even easily find out that how much time you are spending with your smartphones. So the screen time is also, then battery time is also there, how much call in a day, particular day you are just doing. So there are few things which without using any tools we can get from this device. So one can establish a diagnosis about the person's or culprit's phones, that how much time he or she is spending with his device or gadget, how much screen time they are spending, how much calls they are making, how much SMS or messaging apps they are using, which app is frequently used by the users most. So these are the things which is easily now the investigating officer or that lab assistant, forensic lab assistant can get from the handset itself without using any technical tools available with them. What is the crime committed using the mobile devices? So the crime against the children. So that is something called crime against the children. One crime is most often, that is something called cyber grooming. Have you heard about this cyber grooming? Any of you? Hello, am I audible to all of you?
Yeah,
My-
audible, but that microphone is not provided to the student with the audience. You're audible.
So my voice is coming properly or not?
Yes, sir.
Coming?
Yes.
Fine. So something called cyber grooming. Cyber grooming is the terms used by the the activity performed by the cyber criminals. They usually first these kind of activity usually perform after the doing some research on the cyberspace. So these kind of fraudsters known as the cyber predators. Cyber predators means online shikari. So they first choose their suspect, or we can say the and then victims, and then after that they just do some kind of recce, some kind of investigation on their profile, how long they are just sitting online, how late nights they are sitting online, how much they are using, and which app they are using frequently using most, then what kind of stuff they are sharing, what kind of people they are having in their friend list, what kind of people they are following, what kind of stuff they are just shared on their from their profile, and what kind of tag or reviews they are getting from their siblings, or we can say their adolescents. Keeping in that mind, they just make a fake ID on this online platform with the same age group. Even the person is supposed like me and more than 45 year of the age, and then they are making that profile of the 16 or 17 years old young boy or girl, and then with the fake display picture, that is DP, and then profile picture, and then started chatting with them, make the profile similar to them. So if before they accepting their friend request, naturally a person is visiting to your profile and then try to get more and more about you. So they may find you just like them, and then probability of accepting your friend request by them will be more, because you have make your ID in such a way that it just reflect that they are just uh, visiting to their own test of persons, or the person who is having the same taste or same choices. And then once they become the friend of yours, and then cyber predator started talking about their families and their personal things with them, and after 1 month and 1.5 month, then they started sharing their secrets, and the person is thinking that he or she is just talking to a same age group of person. So they also encourage to share their own personal life, their familiar life, their relationships life, their corporate life. And then once they get this kind of stuff online, they just usually just make the screenshot of that. And after a few months, they started asking money from them. And if they are not able to give the money, and if they have been denied their offer, they started blackmailing them that we have a chat history of yours on which you are talking so much of ill talks about your colleagues, so much of ill talks about your parents, so much of ill talks about your companions, your friends, about society, about one religion. Because once a person become a friend, he is very free and open to discuss many things, because he or she is the thinking that they are talking to a same group of person. A person is having the same taste, so they thought that they are talking to their buddy, and then they disclose many things which is not supposed to disclose on this kind of online platforms and in this cyberspace. And the cyber protester make those chatting screenshots as a digital evidences and use against them. That is something called cyber grooming. So the cyber crime against the children, the cyber grooming, the drug, nowadays 80% of the dark web used by the drug mafia to make the drug peddlers and to deliver the drugs and get the payment of the drugs on this kind of cryptocurrency. And then because this is the international mafia involved in that, so I'm not able to discuss few things because I'm working with a few law enforcement agency, but with the working with the narcotics department, we have find this kind of things, because once we just interrogated one drug peddler, so he disclosed that he connected through this kind of international drug peddler through dark web websites and dark web IDs. That is something called cryptocurrency ID. Then harassment cases, I already told you. And terrorist activity, that is also through this kind of activity through the mobile phones. You know that online killing and then paid killing is there. And civil wrongs can be also perpetrated that using this mobile devices. So there are, because now this device is using much more, and because this mobile is coming with the ease of the communication, but in ease of communication in making crime also, making crime scene finalized, making crime activity, and then that activist, and then making that group of people who is involved in this kind of criminal activity. They are just making this kind of groups using this kind of devices. Once we called about the definition of digital forensics, so a branch of this mobile forensic is a branch of digital forensic related to recovering the digital evidences, data from mobile devices under the forensically sound condition. What do you mean by forensically sound condition? Forensically sound condition means in the given situation through which we can make the data recover correctly with the right procedures. And right procedure means the procedure which will be proved right by the law enforcement agency as far as the honorable court is concerned. So forensically sound condition means liable and authentic procedures, which will be, because after the collecting all these forensic evidences, we have to present these evidences before the courts to make our case more strong. So at that time, court will not deny these kind of evidences if we are not doing this in forensically sound conditions, means the right procedures, right SOPs for this seizing process or getting the data from the devices. Because I may give you a simple example of if the law enforcement agency just sees one mobile. Suppose I just seize one mobile from one bookie, one person who is just doing this kind of cricket bookie, and law enforcement agency just sees 3 or 4 mobile handset. So now we are getting the data and the details from his or her mobile phones. We have to make sure that on the which condition we have just received this. So we have to issue one certificate, that is something called 65B certificate. This is the emphasized by IPC. The 65B certificate is issued by the investigator, that I have just seized these devices on the presence of so and so person, or even sometime if nobody is there, so the investigating officers himself or herself can issue the 65B certificate, that being an investigating officer of so and so case, it is my fully knowledge, and then we supposed to produce all this digital evidences, devices, and then data recover from the devices, because all before the court, and then court will be taking as evidences. Otherwise, court will deny this kind of thing. Now, digital forensic is a branch of forensic science encompassing with the recovery of investigating the material found in digital devices. Often, it is relation to computer related to a computer crime. What does the forensically sound mean? I already told what is the definition in popular textbooks. The term used intensively in the digital forensic community to qualify and justify the use of the particular forensic technology or methodology. So we now here the method is more important than the results. If the result is also correct, but our methodology is not correct, then court will deny our evidences, and then there will be no use of this investigation, and our whole investigation process will questioned by the court if we are not following the proper methodology or technology. So this is there because we are not only the result oriented investigation supposed to done, but the procedure oriented, because that procedure is more important. Because otherwise, there will be chances of manipulation of the evidences. So court will question on that evidences, and then once it will be questioned by the court, then it will be lose its importance. Now, mobile forensic and computer forensics are different. there are unique challenges involved in mobile forensic that are not usually involved in computer forensic. In computer forensic, we have to only seize the laptop, desktop, but in mobile forensic, the device is also communicating through, meanwhile, the seizing process also. Few evidences may be vanished or sent to someone else also, and few new things supposed to come to the devices also through a Wi-Fi mode also, through a Bluetooth mode also, or through infrared also. So that is why that computer forensics are less challenging as compared to the mobile forensics. Many different types of hardware, large number of mobile operating system. What are the challenges? Once is the different type of hardware, means different type of handsets available. Samsung's, that HTC, then Apple, then OnePlus, and many more. Then large number of mobile operating systems available. Android is there, iOS is there. Security features are different. Lie to the different handset to handset. Different features for the different companies are having a different features. Samsung is having different security feature. iOS is having, Apple is having a different security feature. OnePlus is having a different security features. Now, the Apple, BlackBerry, HTC, these are the companies which usually provide the handsets. These are the different operating system: Android, BlackBerry OS, iOS, Windows phones, and many different proprietary operating systems is also available. What is operating system does your phone use? What are the phases of the mobile forensic? First thing is the seizing procedure, then acquisition, examination of the and analysis. So seizure is the most important procedure when you go to the. I think that you may visited the police department or any other department throughout this your MSc first year or in the second year. Madam, anyone can give an idea about that? So did they
Yes, sir.
visited to the crime branch or
Few of them have done internship with police.
police? The local police station or crime branch or the state cyber cell?
Some cyber cell, and some
Cyber
forensic
cell.
and lab level.
Yeah, so they may be getting idea about the seizing process. So suppose if we are going for that seizing the process, I told you that we have to issue one 65B certificate with us, because it is the law enforcement agency who is capable of to seize the devices. So in seizure procedure, we have to be very make sure about that keeping all the evidences on all the devices with the proper manner. Proper listing will be there, proper coding will be there. Suppose if we have in law, we have just seized one call center and we have just seized more than 100 SIMs. So with the proper SIM number, subscriber identity module, then international subscriber identity, then the capacity, then the service provider listing, all the indexing, and then proper seizing process with the case number also, and then persons also that with whom you have just seizing these devices and keeping with the location also, and the case number also. And acquisition also, examination analysis done in the lab itself. So that is also, we can make sure that in the lab also the different place for the different devices. Even that keeping the seizing process, we have to use the Varadavex also. Ensure that appropriate legal authority exists before the seizing. I told you the legal authority, appropriate legal authority. If yes, we are seizing the devices, or then we have to be coming and accompanying, or we can say that headed by the law enforcement agency or officer. So basically, under his guidance, we are supposed to do the seizing process, determining the make and model, IMI number, IMID, serial number also. So these are the things we suppose if I am just seizing the mobile phones. So first, not only the models, IMI numbers, and IMID, and then serial number also. So the battery number also, and the condition of the battery also, even the device condition also, determine the goals of the examination also we have to mention in that seizing process. Before we go for the seizing process, we have to be wear the gloves to handling evidences, because not only the digital evidences we are collecting, the physical evidences also, like fingerprints also, if we are just not putting the gloves in our hand. So there may be chance of damaging of the fingerprints and damaging of the other digital footprints, maybe a blood clot, maybe a hair clot, maybe other thing also. So there are things which we can disturb from the crime scene. So that is something called crime scene management, how to manage the crime scene. So we have to put the gloves, meanwhile handling the evidences or collecting the evidences. Now the data locations, especially for the mobile phones. Now we have seized the mobile phones. Now we have to, why we seize the mobile phones? Because we need to keep the data, or we need to fetch the data or access the data. So on which location the data will be there? On the phone itself, the few data on the phone itself, in the handset itself, few on the SIM itself. Suppose the contacts may be copied in the SIM itself. On the memory card also, suppose if we have nowadays that inbuilt memory card is there, most of the handheld devices which comprises and coming with the internal memory card. But we know that in the few devices which allow that external memory card also, so memory card also, the data will be there. And nowadays, suppose if I am having an Apple iPhone 15 Pro, so the Apple is also backupping the data on its iTunes, the Google Cloud, the Apple Cloud. So the cellular provider who's just providing you the facility, maybe on his cloud server, the data may be available. Now, what is a SIM card? I know that the subscriber identity module, it has look like this. Now in three, earlier it is coming with the three shapes. One is normal SIM card, then the micro SIM card came into light, then the nano SIM card came into light. Nowadays, eSIM is came into light. So nowadays, and the future is the eSIM. Now, suppose I have two SIM comprises with my handset, but none of them that any physical SIM available with us. So this is the eSIM era also. But then also there are SIM identity also and SIM analysis also. These are the memory cards, the specification of the memory cards, which is coming that once come that the big memory card coming, it is also coming in the digital cameras also. And then now in the laptop also, there is a slot available to read this kind of memory cards, and then mini memory card, then the micro memory card is coming. Nowadays, the inbuilt memory card is there in the handset, most of the handset. So you have to just analysis the device itself instead of that, the memory card analysis. The phone calls, the type of data available with the handset. One is the phone calls, one is the SMS, one is the MMS, and one is the data comprises with the audio, video, or JPG images, or even the financial statements, the Word document, Word files, PDFs. So these are the data available on the phone through which you can access from the mobile devices. So depends on the carrier, the call detail records, the details record of the SMS and MMS messages, that is also you can access from the tool. The detailed records of data uses, this is also coming from the service provider, that how much data in a month you used, what kind of data you used, how much data you serve, how much internet you serve, how much data you download, how much data you have just uploaded. And then CDR is provided by the telecom service provider, the service provider which giving you the subscriber identity module. So how many calls you make in a month, or in a week, or in a quarter, or how many call you received, how many messages, how many voice calls, how many even that roaming call you received from outside the states. This is also analyzed. You can analyze through the CDR analysis. Who are the major cellular carriers? So you know the various versions: AT&T Mobility, Sprint, T-Mobile. How about the regional carriers? So Idea Cellular, BSNL, Airtel, Reliance. These are the regional cellular companies available with us. Evidence can be tangible or intangible. The evidence could be stored in the verified different types of devices. Evidence could be stored in multiple devices. Evidence could be stored in multiple locations. Be aware of very small and discussed devices also. Photographs item before the seizing. Once you are just going for the seizing process, take the photographs of each and every item which you are about to seize, even with the Varada bags also, that before that put the devices into Varada bags also, you have to take the photographs of that. That you may want to bring a forensic examiner with you, executing the search warrant. Consider you as a capture for a desktop and laptop computer. Please cellular devices, aeroplane mode in if possible. The thumb rule is that if the device is open, you have to keep this device open. But you are not giving them a choice to make the changes in the device. So make that device in the aeroplane mode. So how much call will be already done? There will be there. Then no new call will be received by the device once you keep this in the aeroplane mode, and then device will be on also at the same time. So don't forget the fingerprints and DNA evidences also on the devices before you seize them. Then general rules for the cell phones: if they are powered on, leave them powered on. If they are powered off, leave them powered off, because there may be chances to changes in the data. Because if the device is on, please put on the airplane mode. If the off, that no need to on, otherwise there may be new SMS or new voice call may be there, and then the new message will be also received in the device through internet. Then there will be a difference between the device available in the seizing time and at the time of presenting before the court. Then your evidences will be questioned by the honorable court. If they are the devices, if they are on, place device in the Faraday bags to prevent the wireless communication. So in the different shapes of bags are available for the different devices. So from laptops, from tablets, from the handheld devices, and proper indexing the devices before putting them in the Faraday bags. Where can the suspects hide the evidences? कहाँ वो छुपा सकते हैं? So there are the microchips available. So these are the chips. These are the gimmick they may do. In the microchip available. So in the, suppose we can have only 2 GB of microchip. How many data? So 35 lakhs Word documents, 55,000 PowerPoint presentation, and 12 lakhs, 1,20,000 high resolution photos, and 45,000 songs, and 100 full length movies maybe comprises, or maybe in the 2 GB of microchip. So you can't think that only 2 GB chip is there. So how many data? So this much of data may be there in only 2 GB of microchip. These are the way that they may hide their data. So with the gadgets, with the key in the shape of key, in the shape of toy, in the shape of bullet, in the shape of teddy bear, in the shape of lipsticks, in the shape of that puzzles. USB may be there in the shape of any other cartoon character, in the shape of any equipment, in the shape of any belt, in the shape of any doll, toy, in the shape of any other kind of sticks, the cheap sticks, then in the shape of any Wi-Fi router or wireless router. So the examination analysis will be depend on the types of data you are looking for, and accordingly that you can choose the tools, and accordingly you can go forward for the investigation process. Then prevent offense from the taking a peek at the evidences. Submit the evidences to a qualified examiner, and you may need to examiner's assistant when the reviewing the results, because you may need another person who can make sure that you have in the right direction, in the right path. So you have to assist the reviewing the results. What kind of data will be found? An address book, a call history, SMS, MMS, emails, web browser history, photos and videos. This kind of data you may get from the device. Music, documents, calendars, notepad, maps, social networking data, application data, deleted data even, for evidence to be admissible. it must be authentic, complete, reliable, and believable. Otherwise, if it may be not authentic, then or complete, even incomplete is unauthentic. Reliable means you can rely on that, and believable also. Then secure the evidences and preserve the evidences, document the evidence and document all the changes. That is, what about the log phones? What it is easiest way to dealing with the log phones? Ask the suspect for the password first, and genuine thing when you can ask the suspect, so please unlock this and then get the data. If not, it may be possible to view the suspect's pattern. So you can put a fingerprint powder and then you can get the suspect's pattern also. Even the phones is logged, the examiner may be able to locate the valuable evidences on the micro SD card. The memory chip is removed from the device and replaced in a special reader, and then you can get. Then you may be able to obtain the assistance from the manufacturer. Like I already in the beginning, I already told that FBI many a time that requested Apple to crack that particular device if that Apple ID is not provided by the suspects, and if that case is the basically for the national security or sake of any other big case. So you can request to the manufacturer that they can break the device. Intangible evidences can be just valuable, tangible evidences, sometimes more valuable. So example includes email messages, cloud storage, social networking profiles. So you may also get the idea about the suspect's activity or pre-activity and post-activity also after the incidences. So on the basis of that, you can even the cloud storage, you can get the previous data also, and from email also, you can get the locations also, IP addresses also. Investigators should look for the seize the tangible evidences. Examples include the email message, cloud storage, social networking, and Gmail also. Hotmail, iCloud, mail, mail.com, inbox, Dropbox, Google Drive, and then Box. These are the locations on which the data may be present. Microsoft OneDrive, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Google Plus, and Instagram also. Because nowadays the social engineering is also applying, meanwhile they're collecting the data. So through which this social profile, the many data may be getting by the law enforcement agency and as an investigator also. So I hope I just try to give a small light on that mobile forensics and mobile technology, what kind of things happens which when the communication established by the mobile telephones and mobile. Hope we will have more session like this, and then one because these sessions may need a separate session because that cyber seizing is a separate session, and then we can say that CDR analysis is a separate session. So, but I claimed in the starting also that I am not claiming that you may be knowing each and everything of something, but at least you may knowing something of everything. So this is my presentation, and with these words, I would like to conclude. If any questions, you please ask. This is complete from my side.
Thank you, sir, for delivering such a captivating and insightful session. Your wealth of expertise has made a lasting impression, and we truly value the enriching experience you've provided us today. So we will move on to the question and answer session by the students. So in case if anyone has a question. I think there's no question. Okay, so we'll move. Gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more. With this in mind, I would like to invite Ms. Neha, first year MSc Forensic Science, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today's session has guided us to deep dive into the realm of iOS and Android forensics. And this enlightening experience owes much to the invaluable insights shared by our esteemed guest speaker of the day, Professor Gaurav M. Rawal. Sir, we wish to convey our genuine appreciation for your enlightening and informative presentation. Your extensive knowledge has made a lasting impact, and we are truly grateful for the experience you have provided. We anticipate future collaboration and continued learning opportunities under your guidance. Thank you, sir. This session would not be possible without the support and guidance of the member of the management, led by Principal Reverend Dr. Augustine George and Vice Principal Reverend Father Lejoki Thomas. Thank you, Fathers. I guess I extend my gratitude to Professor Don Cairo, Coordinator of Department of Forensic Science, for encouraging us to strive better and helping us in conducting such programs. Thank you, sir. I extend my heartfelt appreciation to our esteemed teachers for their coordination, which played a pivotal role in ensuring the program's success. I would also like to express my heartfelt gratitude to the students of forensic science for being a great audience during this session. Your active involvement and attentive listening greatly enriched the interactive atmosphere. Thank you, dear students, for your valuable discussion. Thank you all.
Thank you so very much for inviting me here. So thanks to the Department of Forensic Science and then Christ Jayanti College. And I am grateful and thank you for the nice comparing done by you, madam, and then all the students who were so keen to attend this kind of, and special thanks to Professor Nandini Katare, who she has invited me for this session. So I am feeling proud and privileged that you give me a chance to speak before your students. So thank you so very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Sir, with your permission, can I end the meeting, sir?
Please, please.